We're here with, you know who he is, Matt Jones. I don't know what your title is anymore because they've given you charge of so much stuff, but we're at the 44th annual NAMAD annual meeting, and it's just good to be here with you for a few minutes.
No, the pleasure's mine to be here at NAMAD and be with you and the team and seeing everything that's coming together. I mean, this is just bigger and better every year. It's thrilling to be a part of. It's actually like watching something that you love grow.
How many years have you been here?
This is my fourth.
So our first year was the year we met.
Yeah.
Was our very first year, both of our first years here.
That's right. And it's interesting how much you learn in 4 years and how much can change with an organization.
Oh my
and
gosh.
You watch it grow. It's like watching NAMAD is like watching one of those time-lapse videos of plants growing.
Yeah.
Right? When you talk about like how many people are coming.
Well, in the last 4 years, it doesn't have to be that much of a time lapse.
Right.
Because this thing is on the trajectory.
Yeah,
I want to thank you and TrueCar Plus for helping us make our being here and getting all of the great things they're doing out to everybody else, because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more people here even next year.
Oh, that's great. I feel like an early investor, like a ground floor of this, right?
Like I knew.
Even though it's not early.
I knew the band when they were playing in clubs.
Exactly. That's how I'm feeling.
And now they're in the state. Even though they're like, we've been 44 years,
44
decades.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit. You are now in charge of a product.
Yes.
For the first time in TrueCar, and it's TrueCar Plus.
It's called TrueCar Plus.
A lot of people don't know what that is. Why don't you explain to us what TrueCar Plus actually is?
So TrueCar Plus is, depending upon your point of view, some people are going to call it a digital retailing tool. I think the term digital retailing is kind of overplayed.
Yes.
I think it's overused.
I'd agree.
But I also think it's very nebulous. It means different things to different people. But TrueCar Plus is a tool that allows people to kind of grasp that overall idea of allowing a consumer to go from the beginning, like the discovery of a vehicle, equipping a vehicle, finding out what a vehicle costs, getting a trade appraisal, blah, 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 all the way until the point of delivery where that vehicle shows up in their driveway. And that's a product that we just launched July 17th in Northern California. We just went live. But what's interesting about it is we actually quietly piloted that product for 2.5 years, and we've sold over 1,000 cars with this product.
2.5 years?
2.5 years.
Are you allowed to talk about who you piloted it with?
No.
Okay.
But I will say, it was more than 100 different dealers across the nation.
Oh, okay.
Right? Every region, franchise, even independents.
Yep.
We used that pilot. We wanted to be very broad and very wide to figure out what works, what the pain points are on our side, the dealer side, and the consumer side. When we had that info, we closed off the pilot one, went back to the lab, as the kid would say, and relaunched on July 17th with a partner in California.
So what type of dealer does this fit? Because you just explained digital retailing.
Yes, but I don't really want to use that term anymore.
No, you don't, but you just explained like how the industry contextualize it. Like what's the difference in the TrueCar Plus, like going through the TrueCar platform? Obviously there's some different levels of integration.
Right.
But what type of dealer it would be like a good fit for TrueCar Plus?
So it's probably a dealer that's going to say, first and foremost, I want to be a good partner to the provider of this technology as it grows, because when anything's new, there's going to be little things that need to be tweaked. There's going to be adjustments. So the first kind of dealer is somebody who would want to partner and say, hey, we're kind of in this together. As a dealer, my investment is I want to help the company, but I also want to be a part of this new landscape that could be in front of us. Secondarily, it's somebody who's saying, I'm open to what has been and what may become.
Yeah.
I know that the jury's kind of out, depending upon who you talk to about this whole digital retailing, online purchase thing. But in 2023, just between Tesla and Carvana, over 1 million cars were sold.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
We're sold.
Sold, and they were delivered, and they were done online without person interaction. It ain't everybody.
Yep.
But it ain't nobody.
But it's
right?
Is that the slogan? TrueCar Plus. It ain't everybody, but it ain't nobody.
I don't know if I can use contractions in the slogan.
I'm pretty sure you can.
Yeah, I might have to.
I'm going to nix that for you. I'm going to save you the heartburn. PR's going to be like, no, that's not it.
It's not going to happen. But the other part of it is the way that we look at it is it's an automation tool for a dealer, right? We're not superseding a dealer. We're using a dealer's terms, their vehicles, their products, their lenders, and we're just automating everything what they are going to do on their terms for those people who may decide buying online better suits their lifestyle.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
So you get the pleasure of visiting lots of dealers, interacting with lots of dealers across the country, even here, tons of relationships.
Yes.
What are some of the common themes? Like, it doesn't have to be in the lane of digital retailing. Macro, what are you hearing the most, like, focused attention on for the next 12 months forward?
Everything I'm hearing is about customer experience. It's all boiling down to the customer experience. You have what people say on stages, those are prepared. Everybody's thinking those things out.
Right.
But when you're sitting around the table and you're just decompressing.
What are they saying there?
How am I going to make my team happier? Because through that, I can make ultimately my customer happier. And the way that shows up is in places like better conversations. Not necessarily just faster conversations, but better, more full, more rich conversations.
With
consumers, right? A couple years ago, we used to talk about this disconnect between the online and offline experience, right? That comes down to listening to what the customer's needs are and what they're saying, and not having that trick from, I did all this work online and now I'm inside the store and I got to start again. So just little small things like that are completely in control of the dealer. They have nothing to do with microeconomics. They have nothing to do with macroeconomics. It's what can I control right now that's going to have a positive impact on my business. And of course, you have all the blue sky conversations, you have the M&A conversations, you have the blah, 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 blah.
Still goes on. That'll always go on.
It goes on. But when you're talking to people in real life, what's on your agenda? I want my people to be happy so they can make my customers happy. And that's more important now.
You know, obviously we're big fans of that. Love people more than you love cars. I think it's interesting that with all of the speed and technology conversations we've had over the last 5-6 years, how even after all the advancements we've made and all the advancements we have to make, there's still a very cogent realization that it is still coming back to the humans.
100%. Listen, we do a lot of consumer behavioral data analysis, right? One of the first things that you're taught if you ever sell cars online, I mean, as an internet person like I was back in the day, respond quickly, right? That's your first chance, but you know what else is important? Responding with a non-canned response, right? So I can hit respond, I can have a 2-minute response time. We've seen that the people who have like a 6-minute response time, but it's an actual real message.
Do you have any reports that?
Yeah, of course I do.
So that's the kind of thing that I think is not talked about enough, especially in a world where AI in chat conversations is starting to become a big deal.
Yeah,
like it's a qualitative approach,
100%.
right? Not a quantitative. 2 minutes quantitative, bam.
Right.
You're talking about a qualitative measurement,
right?
That you really need data to support.
100%.
Because that's why the empathy matters. That's why training your people to respond that way matters.
Yes, and training people to understand that there's different communication channels have different behaviors. We have a texting platform. We have an email platform. We know that people call. We can see who can advance, like on a micro or a macro level. We see which dealers advance conversations via text versus those that don't. And you know what the difference is? Questioning. Hey, what are you looking to do? What's going on? How are you? Very casual, because that's what we do through text.
That's right.
But the people who just take and copy and paste,
put that in an email
into it doesn't work. Surprise, surprise. So you're talking about that human again. So you know, these are all things that are controllable in this space, and I love hearing about it from operators. And of course, we all want to get better.
Yep.
We all want to be here for the long time. You know, but how do I make my people happier, so that they can in turn make my customer base happier? I love it.
We've crossed the halfway point of the year. Right, we're approaching the final leg. Right, once it's going to be right here. October 1st is going to hit, and
Incredible.
What does your agenda look like for the remainder of the year? What are you going to be doing?
Me, myself?
Yes.
I'm going to be talking through and working with some of the dealers that we've selected to be on this TrueCar Plus program. We're going to be in stores. We're going to be seeing what works for the consumer. We're going to see what works for the dealer and quietly tweak those processes. We have a team of elves that are doing all sorts of magic behind the scenes. It's like incredible. The best technology is invisible. We're making our technology invisible to the customer and the dealer. I don't mean there ain't no work going on, right?
You just can't see it.
You just can't see it.
Behind the curtain.
So we're going to be doing a whole lot of that. And of course, we're going to be understanding what's coming next. What are we going to expect in 2025? And preparing ourselves for it. You know, as how do we get ready? How do we continue to talk affordability? How do we continue to get in front of the EV buyer? The EV buyer.
Oh, that's a whole other thing.
You know, can I get on my soapbox for a second?
Here, you're already almost as tall, right? So yeah.
Even here, we've had a lot of conversation about EV and what it's going to mean, right? I've often thought that the propulsion system is an unneeded conversation piece. What's important, in my opinion, about the EV customer versus the ICE customer is the shopping behaviors that we're seeing that EV customers are bringing into the market.
They're different.
They're different, right? So like we said earlier, whether people believe in this online buying or not, 1 million people did so last year just between those two companies. It's influencing how other people shop, whether we want it to
What are some of the defining characteristics of an EV shopper?
Well,
what are they doing differently?
They're doing a whole lot more online, right? They're relying more on digital confirmation than in-person confirmation. They want more from their salesperson or from their sales outlet, but what they're really doing is understanding what it costs. and how can they transact in a way where they feel that they have control. We'd be silly to think that that's only going to be Tesla buyers.
Oh, absolutely not. It spills. I mean, you look at what happened when Carvana came on the scene, and now Tesla and this EV, like, it's trickling in, I think, for the better.
I think so too.
Because it's making a better process for everybody.
Yeah, and it's making a process choice for everybody, you know? There's going to be people until the end of time who say, I want no part of that.
Go in, look someone in the eye. That's how you do business, right? That's always going to be a big block.
But what happens to the people who want to go in, touch, smell, feel the car, and then go home and purchase it during Super Bowl, right? Because those people are existing.
Yeah.
And I think that this new EV is creating an environment where people are saying, I want that Tesla experience. I want that Carvana experience. I may not necessarily want that vehicle. I may not necessarily want their product, but I kind of want that experience.
Matt, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you if they heard something or they have a question or they want some of the info?
M. Jones. It's a very complicated
That's really hard.
name, really hard. M. Jones at TrueCar.com. Matt Jones. You probably have to go on LinkedIn, Matt Jones TrueCar, because I don't really have a unique name there.
Yeah.
Or questions at TrueCar.com, and you can find me and we can talk and we can hash it out and we can debate, we can argue, and we can learn from each other, because, you know, that's kind of my jam.
Well, thanks again to you, TrueCar, for making all this possible, and for just constantly giving your heart, your passion, your intensity, and your heart into the industry. Thank you.